1. Peace, y'all. This is Empress, Coach Rena Nicole, and this is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. Period. Okay? Now, today, the topic is 5 ways to deal with angry people. Okay? So, I just want y'all to keep in mind, we are streaming live from every network. So, if you're in those Clubhouse Street, raise your hands. Make sure you're keeping it. Comment 1 to 2 minutes, share, ping, follow. What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? How y'all doing this morning? You know, it is Saturday, October. Oh, shoot, it's November. Wow. November the 5th, 2022. Yes, period. Okay. Players mess up. Now, with that being said, let's kick a vibe for like a few more seconds and jump right into this topic of 5 ways to deal with people who are angry. Okay? Okay. Peace, y'all. Greetings, great rising. Assalamu alaikum, shalom. What's up? Now, yes, we are going to be talking about 5 ways to deal with people who are angry. Because sometimes you just be like, you mad. You want to argue. I can't argue with you. You mad. No, I'm just playing. Well, okay, but sometimes it be like that, right? Like you just don't know why people are so angry with you, okay? Or just angry in life, right? So just even dealing with people who are angry can be extremely difficult, right? Because anger can erupt in almost any situation, right? Because think of it this way. You can trigger someone without even knowing it, right? And they can be extremely angry, okay? So it could be with a friend, a stranger, it could be personal or interpersonal, right? It could be at home or in traffic. You know how many crimes we see in traffic, right? Um, Angry confrontations can also occur, you know, any and everywhere. That's why we put the personal interpersonal, because I can go on to the break of dawn with a list of where angry confrontation can happen, right? And it's especially likely if you're like your job involves direct contact with people, and different things of that nature, right? So the experience of encountering angry people can be common, but it's still unpleasant and extremely confusing, right? So you really literally and metaphysically, any kind of way, spiritually, you cannot control how someone else reacts, right? Okay. So, but you can control how you react. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How can you deal with people who are angry? And we're giving out 5 ways that you can do that. Okay. So yeah, let's get into it. Period. Now, before we even start, you know what? I'm going to just jump into it. So the number one thing you can do when someone is being extremely weird or extremely difficult is monitor your safety needs. And what I mean by that is remove yourself from the situation if it feels dangerous, right? Because you're not always going to have the option to outright leave an angry situation, when you're at work or anything like that. But if you sense that you're in danger, you can leave the situation and get as much distance away from you as possible, right? So if you're dealing with an angry person in your personal or interpersonal, situation, you can go to a safe place that's public, right? And avoid places without exits, such as like bathrooms and things that can be used like as weapons, such as kitchens, because it's easy for somebody to pick up a pot, a pan, or a knife, right? Or even a fork and a butter knife, anything. Just stay out of that, Like if you're arguing with your significant other and you know that they're sometimes their anger can be uncontrollable. We're not talking about we're not saying that, we're not justifying, we're not saying it's okay for people to be violent with you. We're just saying, someone just sometimes they're just really angry and you know that you're not able to calm them down. The best place to argue wouldn't be a kitchen. It just went in, or a dining room with plates and champagne glasses and stuff like that. Like I was like, you know what? We can argue here. We can debate here. You stay on your side of the room, I stay on my side of the room, But we're going to get a little bit more into how to decompress a situation too. So, but if you're dealing with someone like, for instance, at your job, and they just try to keep your physical distance between you and the customer, and just stay away from them. Like you can like keep your 8 feet or 9 feet distance away from them. Because like I said before, you cannot control how someone's reacting to anger. You don't know why they're triggered. You don't know if they triggered when they came into your job or anything like that, you know. So it's best to just stay vigilant and keep your distance when people are extremely angry, okay? Um, and of course call 911. That's the next tip, right? So there are many different tips on how to gauge a person when they're angry. My favorite thing to do is what? Take a time out. If a situation is tense, especially in an intimate partner relationship or even with your children, because children are people, they're humans and they can snap too as well. Like teenagers or even preteens, and some of them are bigger than us, you know what I mean? So you don't know what kind of danger in with anyone when they're angry, right? So you can always be like, know what? Um, don't put it on them. Don't say you need to calm down. You can say, I need a moment so we can sit back so I can reevaluate the situation of what's going on. I'll talk to you later about this, or I'll give you a few days and we'll come back to it. Because right now, I cannot think. I'm not able to process, and I just need a moment, right? So you can handle your own emotions. Um, Things of that nature. You don't have to say we can calm down either. You don't have to say that, but that's things that I say. So a healthier way would be like, if you put it on you, it makes them feel like it's not them and they're not getting angrier. You know what I'm saying? So language always matters in situations of potentially dangerous situation or potentially like a situation getting out of control. That's what we call dangerous situations. Situations you cannot gauge anymore, situations you cannot manage anymore. And that's not what you want. That's not where you ever want a conversation to go with anyone. You know, you say, you know what, I need to step aside for a minute and gather myself. You get what I'm saying? And that's another way. So I'm going to open up the stage after these few more things I'm going to give you when it comes to taking a timeout. So when you're using I statements, when you're calling for timeouts, even if you believe the other person is entirely to blame for the situation, it really disarms them and it doesn't put them on a defense. That's literally what I'm saying, right? And like I said before, if you say you need to take a time out or chill out, listen, that's like telling an angry person why you mad. That's literally like telling someone angry, like why you upset? It's all your fault. You're not going to get them to calm down. Okay, you're going to put them in defensive mode. You're going to get them to even yelling, having an emotional outburst. And unfortunately, some people are drawn to physical outbursts when they're angry because they're not able to regulate. They're not able to calm down. They're not able to think rationally when they're upset, right? Because their medulla oblongata start acting up, right? Too many chemicals being released, okay? So um, don't be afraid to call for timeouts while a person is hostile and angry, okay? Because both of you will do something to calm and soothe yourself during timeout, right? Whether it's walking out the house, whether it's going for a walk, playing with a dog, playing with a cat, writing, just even going in the shower to take a shower, just to cry in the shower. Just something to release, right? So the best thing I feel like you can do is the timeouts. So now we're going to open up the stage. What's up? What's up, Miss Jasmine? Welcome to the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. I know you about to wake some people up, whatever you got to offer. So let's get it. How you doing? I don't know if she can hear me. Jasmine, can you hear me? Maybe she's not there anymore. Okay. So let me see if anybody else wants to comment. Okay. So we can go to the next one, which is monitoring your responses. My favorite thing to do is another thing is monitoring your responses. What does that mean, Empress? What does that mean? Dun, dun, dun. Monitoring your responses literally means to stop and breathe. Stressful situations, you know, um, they can provoke a fight or flight response that speeds up our heart rates, makes our breathing rapid and shallow, and sends stress hormones surging through our body. So, to counteract response with deep breathing will help you to remain calm, right? So, remember that two angry people can make the situation twice as bad. Okay, so nose breathing is simply ideal. Like you're a person that meditatively breathes all the time, and you're living in like intentionality or you're living in mindfulness, you're already practicing deep breathing through the nose because that's how you breathe automatically. That's why when I'm on the podcast, I sound my voice sounds so deep because I nose breathe, right? Okay. And there's just a little added deepness because I've been sick. So yeah, literally just count to four. Feel your lungs and abdomen expand as you inhale, and you can exhale through your nose, right? After 4 seconds, if you can hold your breath that long. So when you're monitoring your reactions, you're literally giving yourself a chance to process. You know, and it's not saying that, oh, it's going to take you 4 seconds to process. No, it's going to take you those few seconds, if you use more than four, to simply gauge what's going on. Like, you're going to gauge what's going on, and you're going to, like, you know what, this is not worth it, not worth my energy right now. Or if you decide it's worth it, even though it feels stressful, then you're going to decide that it's worth it after that breath, and you're going to go in. But guess what? Either way, it's completely up to you. But if you decide to go in, then you're not managing the situation. You're not managing your reaction. You are allowing your reaction to manage you. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? Hmm. And for the most part, people allow people allow their reactions to manage them, and then they play it off like they are managing their reactions. That's the funny part. It's hilarious to me. To me anyway, I think it's hilarious. Wow. But managing your emotions is the key point in emotional intelligence, right? So reacting calmly to an angry person will help diffuse a tense situation. But most sick people, sick individuals, they get even angrier when you are reacting calm to them because they're like, oh, I can't get to her. I can't get to him. I can't make them upset. I can't make them irritated. I can't take any of their power away. So they're even angry and they'll keep going and going and going to get a response out of you. And when they get nothing but calmness, like, okay, you're crazy, then they're like, ugh, this person is this and this person is that because they couldn't jab at you. So now they want the next steps they probably do is the defamation of character step after that. We're talking about sometimes even in intimate partner relationships, you might have that partner that just want to win, just want to jab you, just want to, unfortunately, this is reality, and I know people are like, why would you want to have a partner? Let's just come on, we're being transparent here. We know that every single relationship is not the ideal relationship from our standards or our boundaries. And these things happen. People are in these relationships with people who like hurting them and they don't have the skill set to recognize it because they're having too many chemicals released in their brain where they can't even see through the rose tints. Okay. Hello. Now, um, responding with anger of your own will only escalate any situation, right? And things are going to get worse. So, like we said before, taking that time to remove yourself, like going for a walk, meditating, counting backwards from 50 are all ways you can calm yourself down. I know you're like, counting backwards from 50, period, in your head. Like, I noticed that I do something that's annoying and I try not to do it anymore. Like, when people are frustrating me, I start humming. I go, and I notice people pointing out, like, are you humming when I'm talking to you? I said, oh, I thought I was humming in my head, so I can't do that out loud anymore because it's rude when people can hear you doing it, and people got angrier with me when they hear me humming. Oh, you're not listening to me, not knowing that I'm soothing myself. Just like when a baby has a pacifier, it's a self-soothing technique when someone is poking at you. You know what I mean? So if you want to try humming in your head, not out loud, of course, and you know, it's very self-soothing. Um, and I know you feel like, oh, well, maybe you're not listening. Absolutely not. I'm not listening. They don't know that if I'm coming in my head, but I'm not listening to someone abuse me or just yell and scream at me. So they just like every time you say, hey, I need to leave this conversation, they keep going. After half an hour, like, okay, that's it. Like, I'm here, but I'm not here. Ha ha. And then later on, I'll come back to it, like, hey, when you were speaking the other day, can you just be a little bit more clear on what you were saying? That's the way to get away with that, because self-preservation is the best preservation. It's the first and only preservation, because if you're not preserving yourself, then what are you preserving? So I know you say, oh, well, why would you want to be in a relationship when you're not listening? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that someone's not getting the message that you need to leave the conversation. They still walking behind you or just talking to you. You have to tune out. Sometimes you have to tune out. You have to tune out. And when you get the strength or the energy to go back to it, if you decide to, you say, hey, when you were speaking to me today, can you give me a little bit more elaboration without all the anime? Like, without all the animation, you don't have to see the last part, but me, sarcasm McGee. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. This podcast is not how to make angry people angrier, so don't. Well, you don't have to say that part, right? Um, so one of my favorite things in Four Agreements by Daniel Munez, right? It's a book. It's a little tiny book, and it's is like, don't take things personal. So the next tip is to not take things personally, right? We're on number 3. So it can be extremely difficult to disengage your personal emotions from a confrontation with an angry person. Because a lot of times, even if you are in a confrontation with someone angry, you're gonna project what's going on in your life to them. And like, you're gonna start saying things like, "I don't have to take this shit. I'm tired of people trying to mess with me. I'm not the one, the two, or the three. Hello." He's like, you know, and sometimes people be looking at you like, huh? I don't even know you. You get what I'm saying? So remember that anger is often a sign that the other person has not learned to respond in a healthy, assertive way to a situation, they are experiencing as threatening. Now, guess what? Some people think everything is a threat to them. Their ego is so big that if you say anything to them, they're upset. They're justifying, they're deflecting because they have this image about themselves where they're perfect, and that's how they want everyone to see them. They have this image about themselves that they're the most beautiful, that they're the most this, and that they're the most that. So if you say anything to them, their ego feels jabbed. They are going to get an attitude. They are going to feel upset. Okay. So please keep that in mind. Okay. Period. Hello. Now, anger escalates because of 7 factors, right? We have insecurity, a lack of what choices, disrespectful behavior, aggressive or passive aggressive responses to a problem. Now, I listen. This episode, excuse me, this podcast is to elevate and to grow people. I can be the first person to admit that I can be extremely passive aggressive with people when they're angry, because it's like, I'm not going to get on that level with you. And people can take that as antagonization, though. They can take it as someone's being antagonizing them. They're not engaged with them. They're not interested in what they have to say. But literally, it's like that fight or flight thing. It's like, all right, do I fight or flight? And sometimes a fight can show up as passive aggressiveness. Okay. So just keep that in mind. That's something that I work on daily, because I don't feel like that's the healthiest option to be. Because sometimes even when you're passive aggressive, it still allows people to abuse you. And like she said before, unless they cash up you 1,500, nah, we not into abusive conversations and relationships. Like, you get 2 seconds to talk to me, and then like, you get a few seconds to talk to me and express yourself, and after that, everything else is abuse. When people are just yelling and screaming or talking down on you, yeah, make them cash app. I'm just saying. Like, you don't get the opportunity to do that. At least pay for my spa visit after this trying, draining conversation. Hello. Wow. You're like, what? Period. Okay. Listen, it is about to be 2023, and we are not here for it. We are not here for it, though. All right. Um. Now, people may feel insecure when there's a degree of unpredictability in a situation. Hello, that's what insecurity comes from. I mean, a lack of security, right? So, when a basic degree of order and security are threatened, people may react in what? In anger, because they're not able to regulate. Anger comes from disruption. It comes from emotional dysregulation. That's where it comes from. Okay, so people may respond with hostility when they feel their choices are limited, and that's what they always say, like crime in certain communities, because people don't have a lot of choices, a lot of opportunities. That's why they respond so angrily. That's why they're so aggressive. That's why they're so hostile. That's what a lot of science behind relationships and socialization says, right? So that stems from a sense of powerlessness and having little to no options in a situation. Hello, okay. So when people feel they're being disrespected, for some reason, everybody feels like they're being disrespected nowadays. Not every single person, but for the most part, if you say things, some people are just not there mentally to actually, receive you or to actually understand you or where you're coming from. Hello. Now, let me check something out. Hey, oh no, hell no. See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Sorry for that, guys. It's like inappropriate people from YouTube on my comments. So, when you feel like you are being disrespected, you're gonna, 9 times out of 10, you may react to anger. Okay. If you are someone that's healthy and you are like you're taking it in and you're trying to process it, you may not respond in anger. But if you speak to someone in an angry tone and or not respectful of someone's time, they're going to become angry with you. To me, that's a pet peeve of me. And it's like, I don't feel like anyone's perfect, but when you waste my time, I get an attitude. Let me say this differently. I get an obvious attitude when I feel like my time is being wasted and it's not respected, or received, as something that was given, to a situation. That most definitely, I feel like the time, even though it's an illusion, we still can't get it back, if that makes any sense. Now, people may become angry to make themselves feel better. So if someone's angry, consider the possibility that it's a response to something about his or her own life, not something that you actually done. Period. So, I wanted to start off the podcast that way. Like, most of the time, people are not even angry at you; they're angry at themselves. They're angry at how you show up. Why you show up so calm all the time? Why you show up so beautiful all the time? Why you show up so smart all the time? Because they themselves can't figure out why the fuck they can't show up that way. Period. Hello. Now, hello. About to go in. Okay. So most of the time, you have done nothing to them. They feel your energy is big and it just crushes their ugliness, and they don't like that. They don't like that their heart is opening up. They don't like that they're feeling things like beauty and that they're feeling things like love, and they want to know why. So they want to destroy it because they already destroyed it inside of them, and they don't want to feel it. Like, when you're around, your presence is so beautiful, so they're just mad at you. Have you ever walked into a room or into an event where people just, everybody was like, "Oh, you look so pretty," or "This is my friend," or "We're so happy you're here," or even when you didn't know anyone, that still was the reaction? Hello? And you have that one person that's just extremely shady towards you for no reason that you don't even know, or that you do know that's usually nice to you, but they see how everyone is loving you and they can't take that. Hello? I'm not just saying a word today. Period. So, like I said, if you want to speak on this topic or you have anything to add, the stage is open. Unmute your mics and let's get it. Give y'all a few seconds to figure out whether y'all want to add to the conversation or answer the question of, have you ever walked into a place or been to an event where everyone was loving on you and that one person that you didn't know or did know was just extremely hateful and angry towards you, and there was no reason for that? Okay. I hope that y'all can hear me on Clubhouse, because sometimes you can have technical difficulties when it's coming to the Clubhouse. Let me check our stream to see if anyone has any questions or anything to add. So, So one thing that we have to face, right? The next thing that we're going to talk about is that if you wrong somebody, it's best to be accountable. Apologize where you can. And if you're never responsible for you're never responsible for like someone else's reaction, of course, right? And nobody can make you angry. Nobody can make you angry. Their actions can trigger you, and then you decide to become angry because you don't have no control over yourself. That's literally what happens. Their actions trigger you, and you decide that I'm mad. I'm mad because that's who you are. You're mad. You're a bad person. Period. It's really that simple. And it comes off so vulgar and so insensitive, but literally, someone cannot make you mad. I've been in so many situations where I should have been angry. I should have been like calling the cops. I should have been like, "Oh, you're getting arrested," or "You just never talk to me again." Where I'm just like, I get it. Just looking at people like, I get it. And everybody can't be that way, but I know a lot of people who are that way. I know a lot of people who will not allow people to take their power like that. And frustration and anger is a part of the human experience. No, needless to say, a lot of people do. I feel like we all as humans experience frustration, whether it's with personal, interpersonal, whether it's just in our daily life, we all experience it. Hello. Okay. So if you're not accountable for your actions towards other people, you're definitely going to open up that door or create a space where someone's going to be angry with you or be frustrated with you and hurt with you. Okay. So just keep that in mind the next time you are engaging with someone, whether you're intentional or unintentionally, doing these things to possibly open a door for someone to react that way towards you. Okay. But it's not your responsibility on how to react, but it is your responsibility on how you show up, how you project yourself, how intentional you are in the things that you say. Hello? Now, um, that remaining calm thing, I'm trying to tell you, it definitely remaining calm and using words like I, because that's the last, next to last one, it definitely is remaining calm and using words, the same words from number one, and using words like I need to leave the conversation because of me and this and that will definitely make someone, disarm them. They don't know how to be angry anymore. And that typically works with everyone for the most thing. But it's things that you can avoid though, like rolling your eyes at them, not making eye contact, slouching, crossing your arms, because literally it lets them know that you're closed off from communication, right? Turning your back towards someone that's talking to you, so you can't say, "Hey, I need to lead the conversation because something's going on with me," and turn your back towards somebody in the middle of a conversation and expect them not to be angry, right? Um, and that's crazy. Like learning body language and using that skill set to the best of your advantage will definitely help you excel in life, because then it's a part of effective communication. Body language is one of the highest things that's a part of effective communication. Learning how to use body language, right? Some people say, you know what, I can say things, but my face tells a story. So learning to not allow your face to tell that story will definitely help you more in having healthier communication with people. That makes any sense, because you say whatever you want to, but they're looking at your body language and say, "Oh, that person is fake," because they told me that they forgave me, but their face was like, "Bitch, I hate you," or not saying like to either gender, but that's the face they're giving. Like, I hate you, I don't trust you, but their body, or their body language can just be so uncomfortable, and their face, like their voice and stuff is giving, "Oh, it's okay." Yeah, so just be mindful that you got to be in alignment with all of that if you're going to be able to remove yourself from possibly dangerous or stressful situation. Okay, so clenching your fist or your jaw and violating someone else's personal space is a sign that you're becoming too aggressive. When you're up in someone's face and you're angry, or they're saying things and you're getting closer to them, and you're all like riled up, that's you violating the space. So you need to back up a little bit, like at least 3 to 6 feet away from someone. And you can sit at an angle from someone who's angry rather than directly across from them, because it feels less confrontational. Because you know what I'm saying, like you're talking to someone like your partner, you know that you have to bring up some things that possibly can trigger them. It's best to sit, like on an angle, but away from them. So they don't feel like, oh, you want to be eye to eye with me. That's what you're trying to say. You get what I'm saying? And it's not saying that your partner is just angry, uncontrollable person. We're just talking about human nature and just how things work. You sit eye to eye with someone and you talking shit, they gonna start feeling like it's wartime. That's just human nature, like I said. But really unhealthy people are gonna start to get violent, So just keep these things in mind, because we can't like literally pinpoint, oh, this is because of this or this is because of that. But we definitely can pinpoint the key points of how to keep yourself safe. And these are some ways to keep yourself safe. Okay. So my whole thing, the last and final one is be prepared, or like be vigilant, right? Always be vigilant, and keep an eye out for disintegrating communication. So it's hard to keep your cool when someone is angry at you, but it's imperative to remain calm, level headed, and have that effective communication with them. So it doesn't mean you're being a sucker. It doesn't mean you're being scared. It just means that you are regulated emotionally. Okay, keep that in mind. Because a lot of people are like, oh no, I ain't going out like no sucker. Okay, I'd rather be a sucker that's alive than a sucker that's dead or hurt or injured. Hello, you get what I'm saying? Or just keep that in mind. Like, I don't think you're a sucker, but that's the way you think. Your mentality is that you're lesser than someone because you stay calm or emotionally regulated in a situation. Then keep that in mind. Okay, hello. Um, So like anything creeping into your interaction, like shouting, them threatening you, them name calling you, or using dramatic or hyperbolic statements, to trigger you, and hostile questions like gaslighting, it's literally time to go. It's time to pack your shit, like whatever you got on the table, your lunch or whatever. If you at work, you can head on down, you can head home back to your desk or human resources, call the cops, do what you need to do. You're at home, you can like remove yourself. Like, I'm not taking this. You don't even got to say those words. You're like, I got to go to the bathroom. If you got to climb out the window for safety and you can do that safely, then do that. Like, or just get away from them, because this is someone who's not going to be able to be calmed down with your calmness. They're not going to be able to stop and regulate their own emotion with your calmness and your respectfulness. So it's best to remove yourself. I'm not saying like be like a scaredy cat or anything like that, but literally just keep that in mind. Okay. So That's I got a few more things left, but literally that's the gist of it, because like when you're interacting with someone, you have to monitor their body language. You have to not only are you gauging yourself, this is why we always say the fight or flight comes in, because not only are you could like being regulated yourself, you're trying to like, process the situation and take the situation in at the same time. That makes any sense. So these tips will definitely help you navigate and have a different skill set when you're approaching people when it comes to them being possibly like upset with you or upset, with by something you said. But a good way to if someone said, "What are you saying to me? What are you saying to me?" And they're angry, you can say, "Okay, so can you allow me to elaborate in a more healthy way? Can I say this differently to make you understand?" And say, "Yes, go ahead." And you break it down more in a layman's term, not to say that they're slow or remedial, just break it down in a way that's not so offensive and change your language that also can help you to calm a situation or rectify something that you may have said in a way that offended someone else. Okay. Like we said before, it's no way in the world that you can control someone's reaction. You don't know how anyone's going to react. That's not your responsibility as a person. Your job is not to make people feel secure in themselves. When you're in these intimate partner relationship, your job is to bring security to the relationship. And managing how you react is you bringing security to the relationship. It's not about you making someone feel secure in themselves. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. And unfortunately, too many people take that on. They take that on and they feel drained and they feel used, they feel abused, because they're pouring from a cup that's supposed to be for them. They're giving it away to their partner, and they're not pouring into a relationship. They're pouring into like that person, and the person still is the same. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally like beating a dead horse. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to open the floor one more time. No one responded today, and offer anyone to share on the topic, any kind of tips they have for people. And if not, then we're going to head on out of here. I went over the list. We're going to do part 2 on Tuesday on how to deal the other 5 on how to deal with angry people. But we covered the first 5, and I hope that you really took these tips and you got these skill sets and you enjoyed them. So with that being said, the floor is open for anyone that's listening in and wants to come off their mics and share. Let's see. Okay. So, with that being said, this was the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. I am your host, Coach Empress Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com, Divine Intervention Show and Podcast, The Love Experiences, TheCurve.net, and the AM Inspiration Show. Now, keep in mind the AM Inspiration Show is to wake you up consciously, physically, emotionally, physically, financially, and soulfully, period. Okay? Streaming live daily, 7 days a week, 365, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Times, period. Now, with that being said, we will catch up tomorrow on Sunday, November the 6th, 2022. And I hope that you have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay elevated. Peace, peace, y'all.